Lesson number 1 for Monday, January 2nd. God is the owner of everything. Psalm 24, verse 1 says, "The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he has founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods." Psalms 50, verse 10 to 12. "For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof." Also read First Book of Chronicles 29:13 to 14 and Haggai 2:8. The book of First Chronicles, starting with chapter 17, records King David's desire to build a house for God. He shared this desire with the prophet Nathan, who responded, "To all that is in your heart, for God is with you." First Book of Chronicles 17:2. But that night the word of God came to Nathan and instructed him to tell the king that because he was a man of war, he couldn't build God's house. His son would do the work instead. David asked if he could at least draw the plans and prepare the building's materials. When David was granted this request, he spent the rest of his life amassing a tremendous amount of hewn stone, cedar, iron, gold, silver, and brass, without measure. When all of the building materials had been prepared and assembled at the building site, David called all the leaders of Israel together for a ceremony of praise and thanksgiving. In the first book of Chronicles 29:13 to 14, in King David's public prayer, who did he say was the real source of all the building materials that he and the people had spent time and money preparing? Of course, in essence, he said, "We really can't take any credit for all these special materials because we are just giving you back your own stuff." The point is important for all of us, whether rich or poor, but especially the rich. Because God made everything in the beginning, see Genesis 1:1, John 1:3, Psalms 33:6 and 9, He is truly the rightful owner of all that exists, including whatever we possess, no matter how hard and diligently and honestly we have worked for it. If not for God and His grace, we would have nothing. We would be nothing. In fact, we wouldn't exist. Thus, we must always live with the realization that ultimately God owns all that is. And by praising and thanking Him for His goodness to us, we can keep this important truth before us. First Book of Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 14 says, "But who am I, and who are my people, that we should be able to offer so willingly as this?" What beautiful principles are expressed in these words, and how do they reflect what our attitude toward God should be and our attitude toward what we possess? From the book The Upward Look, page 327, it says, God speaks to us in nature. It is His voice we hear as we gaze upon the beauty and richness of the natural world. We view his glory in the beauteous things his hand has made. We stand and behold his works without a veil between. God has given us these things, that in beholding the works of his hands, we may learn of him. God has given us these precious things as an expression of his love. The Lord is a lover of the beautiful, and to please and gratify us, he has spread before us the beauties of nature, even as an earthly parent seeks to place beautiful things before the children that he loves. The Lord is always pleased to see us happy. Sinful as it is with all its imperfections, the Lord has lavished upon this earth the useful and the beautiful. The beautiful tinted flowers tell of his tenderness and love. They have a language of their own, reminding us of the giver. And from the book Patriarchs and Prophets, pages 750 to 753, we find the following. All that man receives of God's bounty still belongs to God. Whatever God has bestowed in the valuable and beautiful things of earth is placed in the hands of men to test them, to sound the depths of their love for him and their appreciation of his favors. Whether it be the treasures of wealth or of intellect, they are to be laid, a willing offering, at the feet of Jesus. The giver saying, meanwhile, with David, all things come of thee, and of thine own have we given thee. Have a blessed day.